County Board of Commissioners, April 7th, 2025, 6 p.m. meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Join us in standing with the invocation for the Greenville Baptist pastor John Porter, followed by the pledge to the flag.
Let's pray together. Father God, we just count it a privilege and a blessing to be beginning this meeting in your presence, asking for your blessings upon all that takes place. Father, I want to thank you for this great nation that we live in, a nation that we've been proudly proclaiming to be one nation under God since its inception. Father, I want to thank you for not only this great nation, but all the people that reside in it, for this great state, and Father, for this beautiful county that you allow us to live in. I pray, Father, that in the midst of so many things that divide us, we could always work on finding those things that will unite us and bring us all together as citizens, as brothers and sisters. Father, that you would just have your way and do your will and accomplish your work. Father, be with the citizens of this county, be with these commissioners as they represent us and make decisions for our best interest. Give them the utmost of wisdom in all that they do. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item of business is to adopt the agenda. Do we have any changes need to be made to the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion passed. Are there any presentations for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next is finance report.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Jamie Charlton, new Finance Director. I'm going to attempt to do this, so let's go. In front of you, you're going to see our bank balances, which were run today, April 7th, around 4:30 p.m. by County Administrator John Gorton due to my 90-day probationary period, so he'll still run those reports for me. As you can see, all the finances are holding well, steady, with no issues. Jumping down into our LGIP funds, you will see our general fund earned over $44,000 in interest just for this month with about a 4.3% yield. I've also calculated out to the side for you your month-to-date interest earnings as well as your fiscal year-to-date interest earnings from the beginning of the fiscal year. Great returns overall on investments for the county. Tipping fees are expected at end of month. We don't have those yet, so we'll hope to update those for you at our next meeting. Lastly, you will see our allocations for LOST, SPLOST, and T-SPLOST, which are slightly lower than previous months, but still holding steady overall. Turning over to the second page, you're now going to see our breakdown for SPLOST and T-SPLOST commitments. SPLOST balance for spending remains at a little over $725,000 as of today, with the T-SPLOST balance for spending remains a little over $487,000 as of today. Commitments are as follows. We have everything broke down on the spreadsheet. Notes have been added for all of you as well for estimated times to show either payment or completion. Next, we'll jump down to our LRA funding, which, as you can see, is all allocated to projects listed for the 2025 LMIG. The LRA funding has not been received as of today. And overall, I just wanted to say thank you to let me cover the financials, and if y'all have any questions on it.
Commissioners, when she said LRA, she meant LRA for 2025. We have not
Yes,
received those
the new-
funds yet.
It has been applied for. We're just waiting on funds.
Thank you.
Excuse me, 41 lots, some off of Roberts Williams, and the rest on being to the new road that they'll be building. But they will have to build that road to specs according to our subdivision regulations. But that's just a little FYI.
So, how big of a house is it gonna be?
The minimum is 1375, but these people will end up building probably 1,500.
Yeah.
And, the average lots had to be 2 acres or more.
Around 350 or something, 400 price.
They didn't give me a price on it yet.
And they're doing curb and gutter.
Yes, because that's what our stipulations are for the subdivisions, is curb and gutter.
Why are we doing the shared drive?
To have less cuts for safety on the main, off of Roberts Road, William Roberts Williams Road. It creates a safer, because there's not so many cuts, and it just makes it easier for sight view to create the sheriff's.
That's on the state highway there though, right?
No, it's a county road.
Usually the state highway is usually the one that makes it have.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it
shared drive.
standard.
I don't know why we'd have to do it.
Trying to make it standard for all subdivisions so that we can't.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter to me either way, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's kind of like a standard thing we're doing for all subdivisions, especially because the ones that do come off of highways, they have to share. So we just kind of make it looks better.
I know it would be a deterrent for me, I would not consider that if that was the case personally. Okay.
Is that code, I mean, is in our ordinance, they have to do that, or somebody made
No,
that
it's sort of a
decision?
recommendation and the developers agreed to do it.
Do we know when this is expected to start?
This is just a preliminary. I'll sign off the preliminary. We haven't got the final in to sign off on the final yet. They want to make sure, because I had requested the changes with the 50% and all that before I could sign off on the final.
Have they already purchased the property?
Yes. And you'll see the soil test and all that on the last page. I said it's just an FYI, so you guys wouldn't be blindsided later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got anything, Chief Stevens?
Just first and foremost, Coweta trucks update, we got one in service. We had to wait about 2 extra weeks, because the one that we had at 10-8 having the airbags put on it, they had some sort of failure in the airbags, so they had to reorder those parts from California, and then once they got them, they reinstalled them and all that, so. They delivered that one, we had that one in service in Woodbury. They had just a turbo hose come off of it, so Sandy was up there working on it this morning to make sure it was back, good to go. The other one is there doing pump packing, because they leaked a little bit of water in the pump, and, you know, it wasn't really affecting Coweta because they got hydrants everywhere, but us, I need to keep all the water in it I can keep in it, so we're just getting those pump pre-packed on both of those trucks. Finalizing we finalized the EMS agency renewal, which I have to do every 2 years through the state. We submit applications and get medical director signatures and pharmacy. It's just a bunch of paperwork we have to fill out. That's been done. The deadline with that was April the 30th, so we got that done about a month ahead of time. So should take delivery of our other ambulance sometime this month. I talked with the guys at Custom. It's on the line. It's been painted. They got the box mounted to the chassis. They're doing all the other, I guess, last minute stuff with the wiring and whatever other top minute stuff that y'all do on the inside, so that's coming. And then, we're finalizing the EMT class. The only thing left right now is some scenario-based stuff and some hours for riding. They had to get so many clinical hours riding on ambulance. We have had one student already completed all that. She filled out her application, she was granted testing permissions through the state of Georgia, and she passed her test. So we're waiting on the rest of the students to follow the lead, and that's just a process of them filling out that application. So that's pretty much all I got. Everybody good? All right, thank you.
Yeah, Alan Forno is the Recreation Director.
Good evening. I'm Alan Fordham, new Recreation Director here. I want to first say thank you for the opportunity to join the team down here. I feel like there's a lot of potential down here, and did some great things in Bowden and want to do those things and more here. Still getting my feet wet today, literally, but we'll see how, what I can suggest later and see if y'all are in agreement. We've already taken some steps and reached out to some of my contacts to have some other things run smoother and find new places to get products that the rec department needs at a better rate. And just I have taken over the Facebook page for the rec department, and we've got the scheduled baseball and softball schedules up and posted now on there. Doing motivational posts and just gonna try to get more information out to it. We're looking at several different projects that I would like to see. Don't wanna get in too big a hurry, but we don't wanna drag our feet at the same time, so. But really excited about this opportunity. And basically like tonight, just, I don't have a lot of information, but if you had any questions for me, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to see it. We're looking forward to grow and grow and grow.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman, we have Brian Griffin, our Public Works Director.
Now we're gonna talk tonight. Good evening.
Good evening.
Name is Brian Griffith. I'm the new Public Works Director. I've been here about 2 weeks now. Excited. This is home for me. So to have a little skin in the game, I can definitely say I do. Care about Meriwether County. My kids go to school here. I substitute teach at the middle school, coach the baseball team. I'm vested in here, and I want to see us go to great places. We don't want to be a good road department. We want to be the example of road departments in the state of Georgia. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of stuff that needs to be done. How fast we get there is always a financial burden, part of it, but got a lot of good ideas. We're bringing in some good people. We have some good people to mix in, and I'm excited about the future. Y'all have any questions for me? Fire away.
I don't.
No, just make sure they're getting out there on time and doing their job.
That's not a problem.
That's what they need, some supervision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Hey, just wanna bring that to the board's attention. I got an email today from Miss Rhonda Denton. She's with Family Connections. There's some events going on. Just wanna bring those to the board's attention. Meriwether County, Family Connections, Warm Springs Medical Center, and DFACS are hosting the Prevent event for Child Abuse Awareness Month. I think I told you about this last meeting on Monday, April 14th at 11 a.m. Wear blue to show your support. I'll be at the medical center. There'll also be, Family Connections is hosting a spring community health fair on Saturday, May 3rd from 10 to 1 at the Manchester Recreation Center on Perry Street. If anyone has any organization that's interested in being a vendor, please email Ms. Rhonda for a vendor application and planning meeting information. Then the last thing, Family Connections is hosting a Get Meriwether Reading Summit 2025. It's High Five for Literacy, celebrating 5 years of progress event on Tuesday, May 20th from 8:30 a.m. to noon at Greenville High School. I think she sent you guys an email, but you must register using a link that she provided. Lunch will be served, and they're seeking sponsorships if you'd like a table at the event to share your info. Just let her know. So just wanted to make the board aware.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
That's it? Okay, any questions about that? Okay. Next is citizen comment. So we have one signed up.
I do not see him here.
Okay.
Do you see Mr. Wood online? By chance?
All right, moving right along to item number 9, the minutes. First one is the minutes, March 25th, 2025, work session at 4 p.m.
We did make a few typo corrections, spelled Trammell correctly. I think really that was all, so I've already made those corrections for you guys.
In this one here.
Not in that one, but it's been made,
Oh, okay.
yes.
All right. We have a motion from the board about these minutes from the work session.
I make a motion to approve the minutes, March 25th, 2025, work session, 4 p.m.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Abstain.
I was saying I wasn't here.
Okay, so that passes. Next one is the minutes from the March 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes, March 25th, 2025, regular meeting, 6 p.m.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Passes as well. Next is public hearing. We have no public hearings. Appointments. one is appointment to the Pine Mountain Regional Library Board. This is a 3-year term which will begin on July the 1st, 2025, and expires June the 30th, 2028.
Yes, sir. I received a letter from Miss Cynthia Kilby. She stated that right now, currently, that appointment's being served by Miss Sharon Cuddington. When that appointment expires on June the 30th of 2025, she doesn't wish to re-seek appointment. So I just want to make the board aware of that if you had anyone, or, you know, at least it would give us some time to find someone.
So we don't have to appoint anyone tonight.
I don't
We just need to
tonight,
start
but I
planning.
did, yes, please. So it probably does need to be tabled because it's on the agenda.
But that's not a district, that's countywide.
It's countywide.
Okay. So do we have a suggestion or a motion to table it?
I make a motion to table the appointment to the Pine Mountain Regional Library Board to the
22nd.
22nd.
April?
Mm-hmm.
Is that our
April 22nd.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second? All in favor? All right, item 2, appointment to Region 4 EMS Council for a term that will expire on June the 30th, 2025. This is a 3-year term that will expire June the 30th, 2028.
Right now, that's being served by Chief Stevens, and I think he was willing to be appointed again, so I just wanted to bring that to you so we could get that one on the agenda. You know, we have 2 appointments to that region council, and we recently appointed Chief Grice, and so now his appointment is coming up again, so.
Okay, so do you want to go ahead and make his appointment official
You can.
now,
You
or
can.
table it for later?
I make a motion to appoint Danny Stevens to the Region 4 EMS Council for a term that will expire on 6/3/2028.
30.
6:30.
6:30, I'm sorry.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, congratulations, Chief. Item 3 is appointment to West Central Georgia Broadband Joint Development Authority.
Right
That's a
now,
lot.
yeah, it is. Right now, that's being served out by Miss Carolyn McKinley. And I tried to reach out to Miss McKinley, because that term will expire on the 17th of this month. I wasn't able to reach her. Was you able to get her? So it's up to the board if they want to reappoint Miss Carolyn, and if she decides she does not want to serve, which I think that she will want to, but if you want to reappoint her, we can, and if she changes her mind, we can put it back on the agenda.
She's had no issues with continuing to serve in the past.
No.
See why she would now. We do need to consult with her.
Yeah, and that term would be, it's a 4-year term, so it won't expire until the 2029.
Go
I want to
ahead.
make that motion to where it, make motion for her to continue doing that upon her acceptance.
You can.
That way, if she
Sure.
says no, then we don't have to go back and rechange it.
Yep, that's perfectly fine.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sure she will, but if she says she doesn't, we'll put it on next week.
Next item is unfinished business. Item 1, discussion on grant agreement for fiscal year 2025 tire products grant project 25-TP-099-01.
Commissioners, previous Assistant County Administrator Blue Cole applied for and secured $200,000 in funding through the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, the Environmental Protection Division's tire projects, the tire grant. According to Blue Cole, this project involves repairing roads using materials derived from scrap tires. The county's contribution will be limited to in-kind support, including equipment and staff, time from Public Works. EPD shows strong interest in our proposal, making this a valuable opportunity. However, after consulting with Public Works Director Brian Griffin, staff is recommending that the county decline the grant due to potential concerns related to the impact on dirt roads and culverts. And I believe this was a pilot program for this grant, and that's on page, yes, long grant.
looks like Mechanical Concrete is the name of the company that does it.
Yes,
What are you looking for, Joe?
the pilot program. So the project description, pilot project, page 52.
Let's just start on 51.
51, I'm sorry. It gives you an executive summary about what it is, and from my understanding, it is we will be basically a 1 mile road base, and we will be a pilot program for the scrap tire being put on dirt roads.
This is an environmental friendly option? Where it's being,
The way it's being presented, it is. I sat in on one call, and it was one of the last projects that Blue did while he was with Meriwether County Board of Commissioners. But like I said, after speaking with Public Works Director Brian Griffin, we have concerns about impact on dirt roads, how we keep it in place if it gets down into the culverts.
I watched the video that the company puts out today, and they take and cut the sidewall off and leave the round part of the tire, like where the treads are. And they lay it down like a grid and then fill it with gravel, so it's supposed to keep the gravel from washing and the tires are attached. So looking at it in my point of view, if you were doing a whole road, it would not be practical. But if you had a spot where there were big washes that were small, that you could do like 8 tires and then fill it in, I could see how it could be used, but not as far as doing a whole road or a lot of road at one area. Because it makes like a grid with the holes and you refill the gravel so the gravel doesn't wash out. At first when I read it, I thought it was like recycled tire parts, like a playground, but it wasn't. It's using the whole circle of the tire.
I watched the video, same thing. You lay all these tires out, they're connected together, but to excavate that much dirt off a dirt road and haul it away, because you gotta dig it out this deep to get the tire down below grade, and then fill that up with gravel. So now instead of putting 2 to 3 inches of gravel on the roads, if we get these road ditches where they'll drain properly and so forth, our gravel will hold up. Problem we've had in the past is we put gravel on it, and hard rains, it all washes into the ditch, or a motor grader goes down and shoves it all into the ditch, so we're back to mud again. But I don't see how it'd ever be feasible for us to do our long dirt roads in our county and excavate that much dirt out and haul it away and then put that much gravel back in. But yes, I'm sure it's a great idea if Public Works sees a big bad washout somewhere that seems like every time the rain comes, it just blows that road out. I think that would be a great way to fix it, because it ain't gonna move. That would be a patch fix, but not a road job.
No, I think this pilot's for 1 mile.
that's what I said, this is a $200,000 grant that we could do some bad section on one road with
So
grant
then I was
money.
thinking like Primrose Circle had there those real big washes in that area that you could do small sections if we wanted. It's a trial grant and do like a smaller road, small areas on a road that's not heavily populated, that there would be a lot of traffic, potentially.
Is staff's recommendation that we have concerns, we wanna investigate, and we should table this, or you?
I believe the
suggesting-
grant deadline is this week, if I'm not mistaken, so maybe this week or next week. Because they were asking what was the county's pleasure on the grant. Let me see if I can find the exact date.
have the money with it.
It'll be in kind, just labor.
50-50.
Because on a repair job, Public Works can get out there and dig it out, throw them down, and put the gravel and fix it in a few hours and be gone. But to start doing a whole road, you couldn't do it because of
Well, it says
traffic.
here, it says here on average, it costs $427,500 a mile. We ain't getting but 200,000 miles, so it's definitely gotta be just spots that we're gonna be doing.
It has to be. Yeah. With a video showing them doing that.
Well, that amount was telling if we do like the whole road base with our standard, and then it's saying this with tire cylinders is about 150,000. Reading this for the road base of what you normally would use, so it's showing how this is more cost effective in using recycled products.
It's due April 11th, a decision for the board.
Okay, so we have a new public works director, quote unquote expert in roads. Yeah, so the statement is concerns with it, is this something we want to do or don't?
I have no experience with this application at all, so it would be a legitimate pilot program, not just for us, but probably for the state.
Said it never been done in Georgia, did it?
Right, so this is, I don't know, it's,
Well, that's the concern though, is so I get the concern when we don't know how it's
Sure.
gonna go, what we're gonna run into, we may find out, oh, it's too much work for what we're doing. But it's $200,000 towards that, it didn't cost us anything but time. Do we want to invest the time in trialing some areas for the free money that may fix a few roads, or do we not want to do that?
yeah, I don't even know the process of, you're saying we have to strip it, then put the tires down, unroll, staple them down somehow?
Well, me
Do you want me to
personally,
share the
I would
video with
say,
you?
I would
Please.
say we wouldn't, if we're gonna do that, where we've got problem areas,
Sure.
that you probably don't have to cut the road down, cause the road's already gone.
Just lay it on top? So it's not the sidewalls with the metal, none of that's in there, it's just the tread.
It's the treads.
Okay.
You keep them circular.
Can you lay it down like a,
You lay it down like a grid
What I saw was
and
tires.
they attach, no, they cut the sidewalls off of it and they just have the outer rim and you lay it down and so then you put the gravel back in and fill it up one tire depth. And you fill it in that way, it keeps the gravel in place and then you just put some over the top. And it's to make it so the gravel doesn't fall out.
It looks like a pyramid on the ground, all these tires are going across and then here, and it's a long area there, and then trucks back up and fill all those tires up with ground, but those tires are gotta be attached to by somehow bolts or
correct,
something.
there's gotta be a way to keep it together.
And then you fill it up, and then it can't slide or shift, it's all,
And anytime you think about rubber, I immediately think like trampolines, so it's not gonna have any bounce to it. It's gotta be attached somehow to the bottom to keep it from springing back.
So let me ask you a
that's
question.
why it's just a red part, and then you fill that up with gravel, and then you put your 3 inches on top of that, and it becomes a base that can't slide, but it's,
My next thing would be, you put that down and then 2 years later, they come by with a motor grader and that guy don't know that stuff's there, and he hangs them tires.
I ain't gonna rip it all out.
Rip it all out.
Those are concerns, for sure.
Commissioner, on page 55, it kind of lays out that 23,760 recovered tires will be used in this project. How it's incorporated is the tire-derived cylinders will be laid down and connected together to create a foundation for a road. The layer of tires with their sidewalls removed will hold the road base gravel in place and contain it. This prevents the road surface from being pushed out of place when the foundation of the road is able to maintain its integrity. The road surface has fewer defects, requires less maintenance, provides for safer traveling.
So we have an expert for this, right? No, we're not, right? He hasn't seen the video. So is it Nathan or Michael with us today?
Nathan?
Can you hear us, Nathan? Nathan? Well, we'll continue anyway. You, staff, maybe have answered my question. Can we make a motion or table this until April the 10th? Give staff time to see the video, get familiar with the process, come back and make a recommendation that by email and get a consensus to approve and sign this on the 11th? Or say, no, we want to deny it,
Legal just responded yes by text.
to what I just said?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So I would like to give him the opportunity to fully invest, simply because it's a $200,000 worth that might fix a road or several problem areas. I hate to walk away from that free money. If it can work, and I understand none of us in this building know, or even seen, and it may be something that you come back and say it's not worth our time and resources, but I think we need at least give it the due diligence to investigate that, then you let us know, and we can advise on the 10th. Does the chair or vice chair need to sign this if it is approved?
I'm sure they do.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So the contingent upon Brian reviewing it and then allow the chair or vice chair to sign.
So I'll make a motion that allow staff time to review this grant proposal and the application of it until April the 10th. And at that time, staff receive consensus from the board via email and allowing the chair or vice chairman to sign if we choose to accept it.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
And legal said that works.
Okay.
He's having issues with audio and visual at his condo, but he's texting me as we go along.
If I was him, I would be too, this late in the day.
Me too.
Okay, next item is discussion on the LWCF project, Greenville Recreation Facility, 13-01058.
Commissioners, this grant was awarded on December 31st of 2024, providing $200,000 in funding for the Greenville Recreation Facility with a total estimated project cost of $400,000, requiring a 50% match from the county. The project area covered approximately 25 acres and included proposed development of a grassy open space, an accessible walking trail, a pavilion, ADA compliant playground, restroom facilities, and a dog park. The Board of Commissioners accepted this grant on August 3rd of 2022. However, no progress has been made on this project since that time. Staff recommends not moving forward with this project at this time due to increased construction costs, which are now expected to exceed the original $400,000 estimate. It is recommended that the county consider reapplying for the grant at a later date when construction costs are stabilized or updated cost estimates are available for the proposed improvements. I believe last time we discussed this was estimated to be over $1 million.
We had a proposal that was drafted that, we brought back, and we have worked with that, engineer on that and trying to get those prices down, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get them down to that.
So let me ask, so the board in August of 2022 accepted this grant and no significant progress has been made on the project.
This-
Who is responsible for the significant progress since August of 2022? Is Greenville sitting there waiting on the county to do something, or is the
No, no,
county
no.
waiting on
This has
Greenville?
nothing to do with the city of Greenville. It's just named Greenville Recreation.
Because of the location.
Because of the location,
Okay.
right. The only thing that we were trying to do, and we have made progress as far as we've hired an engineer to do a layout and have a layout, but what we were trying to do was get those costs down, and try to redo
Can you
that.
come back there for a second, please?
Sir.
I'm sorry, can you tell me your name again? I'm terrible with names.
That's no problem. I'm Alan Fordham.
Okay, I get it myself. Yes, thank you. So is this something you looked at or been involved with
No,
since you
sir.
got here?
No, sir.
Okay. In my opinion would be that we would wanna not do this until he has a chance to digest it and see what's the work and then reapply for it at a later date.
And if you remember, when we all first came on board, that's all we talked about was we got property over here and we're gonna start focusing on building, place for people to walk, kids to go, and then eventually ball fields, and this was gonna be the start of the center of the county recreation facility here. So now we got money that's gonna be given to us, but we don't wanna take it because we can't match it or.
We can match it, but it's gonna be over 400,000. I think that when I recall, it was over $1 million.
So let me ask this then, so if they granted us $200,000, does that mean we have to do the entire project as the scope was laid out?
Correct.
It's a federal grant, so it has to be to the.
So the entire project has to be done? Or can we
You should be able to do it
Do-
in stages.
You can,
stages?
yes, you
and when
can,
we
but
get
that
to where
grant,
We spent
that-
200 and they're 200, right, we stop, wait for the next stage.
the grant expired in December, so.
Yeah, they asked for an update, and I told them I would give them one after this meeting because we're meeting on Monday.
But that's why I was asking, that's all we've done is talked about it, and is there not a lot we could get done at 400,000 to initiate starting this?
That's what I'm trying to
Future
find
grant?
out, is can we do it in stages?
Yes.
And do their grant
Should do it
200, our
in
200
Well,
match?
at this point, I think you're
we're
gonna have to see about filing for an extension, if they'll allow that, because it was supposed to be done within a certain timeframe. I don't know, I mean,
Yeah, she called me
So it may
and
be too late already.
it may be,
Well, why don't we just,
because we gotta
we
close
need
it
to know
out.
that. Okay, so.
It's up, we can see, I mean, we can table it to the next meeting, if that's what y'all wanna do, and just see if they would be able to do
Well, we need to
it.
do that so we can understand is this even an option anymore.
Right,
No need us making
I'd
a
like-
judgment on that.
I'd like our director to take a look at it
Yes.
too, and if he was to say, you know, we could get this, this, and this done, we own the property for that kind of money, that gives the citizens to see that we are moving forward.
Yeah.
'Cause that's all we've talked about, and we've been on here for 2 years and
There's
5
already-
months now, and that's all we've talked about.
there's already a plan that we have had drawn out that includes the open area, the walking trail, the pavilion. We got pricing on, playgrounds.
How much of that can we get done? I know it's expensive, but what can we get done for the 400 if it ain't nothing but fenced in, mowed, and some play areas out there?
What I can say from what I've talked,
It was never recommended on that.
No.
The
I haven't had a
ball
chance
fields
to
are-
directly talk to each and every one of y'all. I have talked to a couple of you, and I've talked to other, Randy, of course, knows all about the recreation part that's been here, cause he's been here since the inception, back when it was Woodbury. And then talking to John, Allison, other members of the community as well, the few that I have met, there's not a consensus from what I'm getting told of exactly where the county wants to build this either. I've heard Greenville, Woodbury, and Lake Meriwether. My initial thing before I see anything, and I'm just throwing this out there as a quick glance, because like I said, I've been here, this is day 5 for me. But what I see is so much potential, and I don't know how much land is available out at Lake Meriwether, and it's like it's a central location in the county for all of the kids to get to. There's ball fields already started there. My understanding, there's a worry about the lease at Woodbury and those ball fields. What happens if the Board of Education takes that back? We're kind of worried what happens if they do that. Where are we left then? Where do we go? So the decision needs to be made, in my opinion, before long of what direction we need to go, and then we need to start looking for grants that'll help us to build that. But at this point, the $200,000, if it's gone, we don't know, but it was specifically set for up here. And, like I said, my personal feeling right now is there's so much potential out at Lake Meriwether to build on, and you've got the lake that's beautiful. If you could build a walking trail around it, you've got, there's potential to get disc golf, there's ball fields, there's potential for, and I don't know how much land is available for like a gymnasium or anything like that to be built out there. But that's just my initial assessment right now within 5 days. And of course, I hadn't had really a chance to look because I've been doing a whole lot of other things. But, I know that's part of why I'm here too, is to help figure that out and what would be the best option for, not only this Board of Commissioners, but for the entire county.
So it sounds like we need to do what we were just saying, table this to the next meeting, give the staff time to find out if it's still a viable option, give him time to investigate and look at this and see is it
Yes.
something that we want to do.
Yes, I don't know, and we can find out, Alan, I don't know that we're gonna be able to change the initial.
Right,
scope of
and
work
if
at
you
this point.
can't change the initial scope of it and the cost is too much, then you basically have no option, because if the price, I don't even know what all's included in that, but I can tell you there's gonna be probably a multi-million-dollar project according to what all's in there.
What we need to know from the staff is it still available to do? And can we
Right.
do it in stages? Does it have to be the full project? On page 60, it says the grant amount cannot exceed 50% of the total. So if we do $400,000 worth of work, it's 200 from the county, 200 from the grant. What can we do that may make sense to have a form of a park in Greenville
And you-
with
Right.
half free money, and we still go with our bigger plan wherever it's at, maybe it's adjacent to that or somewhere else.
Right.
It still gives us an opportunity. Y'all can dig into that and find out by the next meeting. Okay.
And
I got
we
it, 40 hour.
asked to try to relocate it, the grant to another spot in the county?
Yes,
For the county?
from the email,
But I don't think they will.
from the email, they said the county does have a few options on how to proceed. So we can reach out to the program manager to see if we can change the scope, change the location.
And then to answer your question, sir, Meriwether Lake would be awesome, but if I understand from Commissioner Collins and I talking in the past, we'd have to reach out to that landowner of that one side there to see if he would be willing to sell some land, because if not, we don't have enough acreage.
And that's what I was saying, I don't even know how much land's out there, how much the county
It'd be
owns.
Mac Daddy in the
Right,
park.
exactly.
We had some other folks for recreation, when the state come down and viewed it, and they said, man, y'all have got it.
I've talked to Thad Ferguson and John Lang and some of those people. You know, I'm on the state athletic committee with those guys, so I've dealt with a lot of those people and that came down. I think maybe Nigel Grant and Kirkland Arnold may have been some of the ones that came down since they're affiliated with District 4, which we're a part of. So they told me that's where they felt like the bulk of potential was.
But before we can continue to talk about growing there, we gotta find out, do we have acreage, or can we, accommodate some acreage for
Correct.
landowner? If he says, no, I'm not interested, then we're wasting our time there.
Correct.
So I'm gonna go back to this item, and I'll make a motion to table the LWCF project, Greenville Recreation Facility, till the regular meeting on April 22nd. Allow staff time to find out is this a viable option, and to be recreation director investigated.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Any other discussion needed about recreation while he's there? Okay.
That's the last.
All right, item number 3, update on the status of Lone Oak lease that was presented on March 3rd, 2025.
Commissioners, the lease presented at the town of Lone Oak was tabled during their March 31st meeting. As far as I know, they're scheduled to have a meeting this evening. I'm hoping to hear that the lease will be signed at that time. If the lease is not approved, staff recommends proposing, but the deadline ends on April 17th, 2025, the 45-day notice.
Thursday week,
Yes, sir.
Friday week will be visited.
And I'm hoping to get a text message at any time regarding that situation, but I haven't got anything yet. But what's told on March 31st, it was tabled.
So really, there's no action by this board to
Just
take,
update.
other than reiterate that our position and expectation of action is still the same as it was before when we initiated the request.
Correct.
Anybody else have a comment on this item? Okay. Next is new business. Item 1, Commissioner recommendation for the purchase and use of iPads to replace paper agenda packets.
Commissioners, there has been ongoing discussion regarding the large volume of paper used in agenda packets. As a result, staff was asked to present an alternative for the board's consideration, purchasing iPads for use during the meetings. This transition would help reduce both the time and costs associated with printing meeting materials. Staff will continue to print a copy of the agenda, while the full digital agenda will be preloaded onto the iPads, which will remain in the administration building for the commissioners' use. And this is just,
At the last meeting, I even questioned myself, and I'm not big at electronics and all that, and I wasn't looking for an iPad to carry around, because I leave it sitting right here. I just said, why don't we have some kind of pad when we come in and sit here, that when we're looking all this stuff up, we can just scroll right there to it, it's right there in front of us, and we don't have all this being done and thrown in the trash twice a month. It has to pay for itself in the long run quick.
estimated cost for the iPads, you're looking $2,000.
Okay. You spending more than that,
And they
paying
can
for
be-
6 months, bro.
And that can be where you can make this bigger, where you can see the
Yes.
weather.
Where's that bound from?
Who'd be the vendor on that one?
Probably Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, I just get them straight from
I
Amazon.
know, I see them
They'll
for
be the same price.
$700-800.
What's that?
I see iPads for $700-800. Depending on what you get.
I can tell you, myself and county clerk, Ms. Stevens has an iPad, and I think over $300 just for the iPad.
Depends on how much, what you get, that it can do and memory.
Yeah, but we're not looking for something.
So ours are just Wi-Fi compatible only, and that's what we would have for the board,
Yeah, we
Wi-Fi
don't even
compatible.
need the ones with the large memory, because you could just erase it off and have the next one.
And the new clerk agenda system that we started using back in April of last year, most of that is, does have some electronic voting. You can do that way. I could just, it would make writing a lot less, but and I'm fine with either
That's what,
way.
with us getting the iPads, would do that?
No, not necessarily, but if y'all are okay with me using it, I've got one to use, so I'd be happy to do that. And I can even show you guys if you wanted to learn some of the things to do on that program, how to do them.
Okay. So I guess what we're needing here is a motion whether to move forward or not.
I make a motion, we approve the purchase of iPads for the board meeting use.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We'll get them ordered and hopefully have them for the next meeting, if not the first one in May.
Item number 2 is request to purchase 4 BAM totes from Patching at Public Works.
Commission,
You gonna give us a quote? Tom?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have one. It's, they just emailed me the official quote. It's gonna be different than what they actually have.
Sorry.
Since the patcher equipment has been operational in Public Works established and dedicated a patching crew that has been actively repairing potholes throughout the county, the last 3 BAM totes were used quickly due to increased pace of work. Staff is requesting approval to purchase 4 additional BAM totes, and that total will be $13,105 with freight. Again, $13,105 for 4 totes
And that's with freight included.
with freight. To ensure continued operation of the patching crew, in addition, staff is requesting authorization to purchase up to $15,000 in patching material as needed using T-SPOS funds. This amount represents approximately 10 to 12% of the county's monthly T-SPOS allocation for road improvements. This request will allow staff to make progress without delays due to low material supply. Staff does not anticipate needing to make monthly purchases. Once the majority of the problems areas are addressed, the volume of material required is expected to decrease. Currently, the county is utilizing its own patching equipment instead of contracting out pothole repairs in larger areas if needed. That patching cost per contract is $240 per ton from Piedmont Paving. And there's a list of roads behind that has already been patched. And I think there's a list that Brian has of ones that are needed of being patched.
Lead.
That have been called in that needs to be patched. He has
That was
probably a
it.
dozen or so lists of roads that require.
You're saying we have that in our package?
Brian has it.
Oh,
He
okay.
has a list of calls that citizens have been calling in on potholes, so they've been working.
Yeah, while you getting up there, I'd like to ask any questions.
Ask away.
Well, my first thing is the road patcher uses this material to mix with gravel.
Correct.
Can you change, is that machine able to change the rate of the mixture with the
Absolutely.
gravel or not, or not?
It is. You can control the flow of the material that goes through the machine. I think they ran into a problem when they first got it out and started using it, of running it a little dry. In turn, everything they put in came right back out. So then they went too far the other direction, and they're putting too much of the BAM, so to speak, in the holes. So it's finding that middle ground. The guys that are on the truck, no one's ever showed them how to do it. They've never done it. It's new to them. It will be a,
Sorry, but the company trained us on that, right? I understand there's still some learning
Sure,
curves there.
sure,
I
sure.
get that.
Yeah,
but I
well,
mean,
when I went out, the first day they had it out, I met with the guys and the workers that are doing it, and the guy told me that he had counties that were filling up that tank, which held 200 gallons, and it was lasting 2 months, the tank full.
and it probably would in Fayette County. It probably
Well, I
would.
mean, you know, I mean, I understand that we're doing a lot of it, but
They-
my thoughts are, as you go out there and you're doing this thing on the road, you number one, you raise your dump up, you put gravel in there, you mix the solution with the gravel, and if you run out of gravel, when you gotta unhook the machine, you gotta go back, get some more gravel, well, then you just bump the liquid up a little bit and put a little bit too much liquid and fill the hole up, that way you don't have to, you don't have to keep going back and get gravel, you stay out there. I mean, I don't know, it just seems like they used a mighty lot of it.
And they may, but I promise you, they have been.
Well, I know
Put it
there's a
down.
bunch of holes in the county, no
Sure.
questions asked, but
And if you want, if the board wants to attack them a different way, we can attack them a different way. That is the option that we have in-house right now.
yeah.
That's the only option we have in-house right now.
And this patcher, the materials that we're using, you are familiar with those, like to train our employees even more on this.
And once we get to the place that I wanna be, that patching machine will be on the line to be sold as soon as possible. They are,
We're a few years away from that, obviously, right? Okay, so, I mean, sounds like you know how to get them to find the sweet spot, get them trained on that, right? We won't be going through it as fast.
I think we'll still be going through it at a rapid clip at first.
Just because of so many potholes.
Because, I mean, these are just a small list of the roads that I have personally seen that we're gonna use a tow to piece on.
King Road probably use a coat or more.
Y'all seen that's not even on the list,
Yeah.
so it is now.
Well, do me a favor, just keep up with, is there any way you can keep up with how much gravel they're using and?
Gravel, no, because we're pulling it off our yard on our stockpile, it's delivered in bulk, and then
Right.
we just fill up the mini truck. So you'd be at guesstimating at best, we don't have any scale, we have no way to weigh.
Well, I mean, you know, most people know how many buckets they put on there, and about how much a bucket weighs, and
Different,
truck, how much a truck will haul it, like, if it's
Sure.
a single axle, it'll haul 10 or 12 tons.
eight is the max legally that you're supposed to, it'll hold 15.
Yeah.
So,
Legal, you can't haul but about 8. And
Correct.
You don't wanna overload the truck, but I'm just saying, you know, that,
but it's hard to look in the back of a truck and go, yep, that's 7 tons, or
Yeah.
that's 8 tons. I mean, I've been doing this a long time and I can't do it. I can tell you that it's between 5 and 8 tons somewhere, but I can't tell you, oh, that's 7.5 on the,
Yeah.
there's no way.
well, I mean, I know you're not gonna be precise, but.
Right, and
Like
that's,
me, I've been loading fertilizer for 40 years, and I know a bucket weighs 1,200 grams.
sure,
So, I mean, I'm just trying to say that if they use, you know, a 200-gallon thing, ought to use 25 tons of gravel, or 10 tons of gravel, or what should it go by?
I'm gonna look to see if there is a spread rate formula for it, like there is with asphalt. I can tell you how much asphalt you need to pave a road. I can tell you how much tack you need to pave a road.
Yeah,
These patching things, nobody else uses them, and there's a reason nobody else uses them.
right.
So I have to do my homework on it too. I can tell them how to mix it, but as far as finding out the spread rate, I'd have to do it by doing it. There's the only way I know how to do it.
But somebody should have the ratio, because like you said earlier, if they were doing it too dry,
Sure.
then they're doing it too wet.
Sure.
So somebody, whoever started all this, would know if it's being done the professional and accurate way, it's gonna tell you about how much product to gravel.
There should be a spread rate.
Has to.
Yes, there should be a spread rate somewhere on the
The
material.
company that trained them on it now?
Should be. We reached out to Mr. Bob.
Reynolds Warren, I think,
Yeah.
is where they're getting it from.
You know, I can tell you how much gravel goes, and you know, a
Supposed to.
gallon of that stuff might do 100 pounds of gravel, or 50 pounds of gravel, they can tell you.
There should be a spread rate. But again, it's still up to the operator at hand that's putting it out there, because it's not monitoring how many gallons is coming through that wand or how many pounds are coming through that wand. You can say, I put 200 gallons in there, I had 8 tons. It was supposed to do all of it, and that's assuming he's getting the mix exactly right every time. But you're still not gonna be 100% on it.
And some of these roads may have 40, 50 potholes in a small area, and they were not shallow potholes.
Sure.
And they were like, so I think we're doing
And
great,
that's the
covering a
thing
lot of ground right now.
on the spread rate, it's gonna give you a spread rate, rock, tack to 1 inch by 2 feet. Then it'll give you another one where it says by 3 inches, and by 4 inches, and 5, spread
So
rate's
it's
on there.
measuring the hole and figuring out what fits for that hole.
Correct.
So I guess what I'm saying is, do away with the spread rate, I'm talking about the mixing rate, you know, how much
Well, that would be the
how much
spread rate.
tack and how much gravel,
That would be the spread rate of
Yeah.
how much tack spread, how much rock. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the spread rate, how far it'll go. That's what spread rates are.
So when you say staff recommends, his opinion is in that staff recommendation, and we're covering that with.
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't, that's what we have right now.
No, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure,
The 15,000,
yeah, staff
Yes.
recommends, staff includes. public
Yes, I've
records
spoken
review
with-
says.
I spoke with Mr. Griffin
Make
about
sure you
it.
included in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this would keep us, right now, I talked to the rep and the actual tote is $3,533 We're getting it for 3104. So at least with 15,000, we would be getting 3 totes, but we wouldn't get it every single month, just when we need it. That way we don't have to keep coming back to the board every time. We've already allocated 40 to 50% of the T-spots to gravel on the roads. Staff is just requesting 10 to 12% of the allocation to be used for patching until we get all the potholes caught up.
Well, so we going through that much of it that we need to just go on and put it in the tank?
We're using about
like that?
65, 70,000 a month in gravel on the roads, if it needs it, especially after this heavy rain. They'll be having truck hauls of gravel coming in.
But you just said we committed 40 to 50%.
That's about what we use. Barry doesn't use all of it, but that's what he's asked me how much does he have to spend on it, and I told him, 50, 60 to play it safe, about half of, a little bit, 40% of what we bring in of our allocation
Each month.
each month. And our allocation is it's on our front page,
Okay, because I don't
134.
remember that being approved.
That one, the actual percentage was not, it's just when the road needs it for gravel, Barry's asked how much could he spend on it. And I don't want to tell him he could spend $100,000, but truckloads of gravel are coming in at $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 to do one road. And especially after this much rain we just received, he's probably gonna put, I assume, around $50,000 worth of gravel on the roads.
But that should start getting better.
As the roads are getting gravel.
We pull the ditches, put it back in, grade it back in, and the rest of it. Because right now, a lot of this gravel is just washing into the ditch.
Yes, sir.
So, okay.
And let's try to get some of the gravel on the roads that don't have any gravel. Instead of going back, I just know in the past, we've had roads that we put lots of gravel on, and then we go back in 3 months and re-gravel some of those roads, and we got roads over here that hadn't had no gravel in 3 or 4 years.
I can't speak for the way that, things work. Can't. I can tell you that I don't like doing anything twice.
Yeah.
And that's gonna trickle down to the staff at some point. There's no reason to go back to the same roads once they're done correctly.
With your years of experience and knowledge, I'm just educating myself on this one here. You've been doing that for years. You've been doing fertilizer and loading for years. I've been doing concrete for 43 years. And I've always wondered why, because I know I could on my road. I can call a concrete plant, get me 9 yards of concrete, and I can go around Sullivan Mill Road and fill every one of them holes up with 5,000-pound mix. It's gonna sit just like that. I poured at FedEx warehouses up in Atlanta, and tractor trailers are driving on it within 2 days or the next day.
Sure.
What would be the reason you couldn't fill some of these holes up with concrete and be done with it, and it ain't coming back out? And then whenever they do go in to fix the road in the future,
Cause it won't stick when you go back to fix it in the future.
what's that?
The asphalt will not stick to the concrete when you go back in the future. So it's a,
But these roads are so bad, whenever they go to do them, they're going to have to rip everything up. They ain't gonna just surface over top. But I'm just curious why.
yeah, well, they're gonna have to be built up. Taking them down is a horrible idea, cause there's nothing under them. What's there is pretty much your base level. You're gonna either put a binder course down or a permaflex course and then come in with topping above that,
Right.
cause everything's gotta come up. If we take anything down, we're in subsoil.
I'm just curious, because some of these roads are such bad
No,
shape, if you build it up and level it off with the asphalt, at least that road would be nice and smooth till we could afford to redo it, and you could put cones out, and in 2 hours' time, cars can drive over.
Or for a third of the price of concrete, I could get hot mix asphalt,
What's that?
hot mix asphalt, and patch potholes properly.
It's way cheaper.
Way cheaper.
What's keeping us from doing that versus what we're fixing to decide on now?
Staffing and equipment, that's it. I can get asphalt for $90 a ton, and I can patch a lot of potholes in a day.
But it's a different equipment, machinery that we would use for that than what we're using for this, or is it the same?
No, you won't spray this in. This would be, you go to a quarry,
Go in just like cold patch.
yeah,
It's hot patch.
but it's asphalt, yeah, it's hot mix. So-
Well, that's what we talked about when we first came on board, and I talked with the previous, director and so forth. See, the problem was with what they were doing is if you're gonna do a pothole, and you get there and it looks like a bowl.
Yeah.
You have to chop out the edges, so you got some thickness, and clean it out, and if you put that stuff you're talking about in a packet, it's there.
It's over, yeah.
But they wanna go in there and put it in like a bowl, and what happens, you see that little bowl slide out and be over here on the side of the road because it can't bond. Me and Pope went out and, they didn't even have a blower on the truck to blow the loose stuff out.
I mean,
So
ideally, you'll have a demolition saw and you'll cut a square around the round pothole so that it has sides.
So
it
it's
has-
4 sides.
So it has something to go against, so it compacts down, not out. I mean, that's,
So with that in mind, how quickly could we get that equipment? How expensive would it be? Do we need to tone back approving $15,000 worth of this patch of equipment?
well,
If we can go your route and.
if it's allocated for patching, why don't we just allocate it for patching? We want to spray in. The sprayer thing, I'll tell you where I think it'll become beneficial is edge of pavement. Drop off the edge of pavement.
Just patch it that we're
Yes.
doing now?
I think that would be a pretty good product for that. And then hot mix the rest. But if we're talking about patching in general, why do we want to alienate just specifically for BAM? Let's just say that money for patching. And
So I guess we need some feedback from you on what kind of staff and equipment do you need to get that avenue of patching?
it won't be bad.
And then we can decide on that.
Yeah, staff will have to check, make sure it qualifies as a T-Splosh purchase, which it should because it's going directly on the road.
Yes.
Well, then where we at with, I remember the meeting, I remember us voting on it. We were gonna vote on putting out for bid, to come in and patch, and we had somebody from Alabama that was crazy, way up there price wise, and then they were taking I finally showed that the yield, the yardage of the asphalt, that wasn't being calculated right, so we redid it, and then this board voted to approve outside companies to start doing patching.
Yes, sir.
And now we're back talking about our department, which I'd rather have, doing patching. So what happened with all that?
Piedmont is the vendor we chose for $240 per ton. They just sent the invoice in for the roads that we listed for them to patch. And that was,
They did patch them or they just?
They did.
If it's an invoice, it means we're paying for work done.
yeah, work has been done. It's,
Oh, well, they only patched, Piedmont only patched like strips.
Yes.
Where to put culverts in. Nobody went and, we had a price where they came in and gave us a price for like Cedar Rock Road and redo it, but it was astronomical, wasn't it?
yes.
Well, I
There's
think
little
people
stretches
out there
in there.
started going, there's so many potholes, it didn't make sense to patch the hole when you just got about a strip to do.
And a lot of our roads are in
Right,
that.
so.
And I saw you throw your head back when he said $240 a ton, but the guy that was here before, they wanted $1,200 a ton.
I'm in the wrong business apparently.
Yeah.
So going back to this item,
Yes.
request to purchase BAM totes for patching. We can make a motion to approve $15,000 of patching material for public works. And that will cover.
And from that money, that 15, we can get loops, for instance, we can get the shovels we need, we can get, the material from the asphalt plant and just call it.
It'd be contingent upon T-Splosh because T-Splosh is the most restricted fund in government. It has to go directly to the road. So if you use that shovel somewhere else, it would not qualify as a T-Splosh project.
Like an asphalt loop.
You would almost have I would need to do some research to make sure everything will qualify under T-Splosh funds.
The asphalt.
The asphalt will be because it goes directly
We
to
can
the
still
road.
make the motion to approve $15,000.
Yes, for
patching
BAM. For,
materials for
yes.
public works.
Including BAM
You have
and
a
that.
discussion on what qualifies as
Correct.
T-Splosh patching material.
Correct.
So I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second,
All in favor?
let me make sure I understand, so we're
Approve
approving $15,000
$15,000.
for patching materials.
Yes.
That's per
And
month.
then they can, sir,
Per month. Is that the motion?
it's just
Just-
$15,000.
So you were asking for $15,000 per month to be for the.
To continue the patching product.
Patching product that we're using per month.
Yes.
Well, how,
To come
$15,000?
out of T-Splosh.
3 months, the 3 totes, how long does 3 totes last?
4 totes would be this quote.
But what do you
Four
want to
toes
do?
deal all
You're our new
over.
director. What do you want to do? This
He wants
right
to do
here or
that.
start focusing going back to the, Cut.
I'm ready to pave roads. I just need people and equipment to do it. I mean,
well, I guess what I'm
the
saying is,
more we can do in-house.
if you was out here patching the roads,
I would
Would
use
you
hot
rather
mix.
patch it the way you was talking about with asphalt or this stuff here?
With asphalt, the problem is you might have a bad pothole. You call the plant and he's down servicing, he ain't making no mix that day, you can't get hot mix. So the spray patcher is immediately available on the yard, emergency situations, that kind of stuff, because
Well, that's why I worded it the way I did, is $15,000 gets you 3 totes, you use 4 totes to get to where we at now, right? So it's taking 3-4 months to use that much,
No, we
That
didn't
gives
use
you-
7 totes.
when we started meeting.
In the first of February, first week of February.
Okay, so we'll get another 30 days, it gives him time to get that data back to us to say, what is it gonna take for us to invest in the hot patching equipment? If we decide then we wanna buy more of this, go that route.
Okay.
So we're approving that.
We approve patching material, he wants to call it BAM or hot mix, whatever he needs to patch potholes.
So yeah, I got
Patching
it.
material,
I
yeah.
see you clarify.
He can spend it all on
And
band.
that's at least 4 to 6 weeks worth at the rate we've been using it, get us to the first meeting in May.
Yeah.
He should have, what's it gonna cost for us to get
So
involved
we're just
with
doing
it?
it for 1 month.
and I'll have your proposal before then.
Right, and then we, at that meeting, we'll decide, do we need more of this until we get there, or we're ready, whatever, to start doing a hot patch versus this.
Okay.
All we're in
That's
favor, correct?
Yeah, I hope they find a sweet spot and it lasts 2 months.
Yes, that'd be nice. It sounds like we may wanna keep some on hand for those rare occasions like you mentioned.
And if we're using that much, we might wanna fill the silo up.
Okay. Item 3 is request to have staff draft letter requesting limited sight distance sign near 1188 Old Durant Highway.
Commissioners, Diane Rignan, a resident at 1188 Old Durant Highway, has requested the installation of limited sight distance signs near her property due to ongoing traffic concerns and a hazardous curve in the roadway. Staff will conduct a site visit to assess appropriate sign placement and prepare a letter to the Georgia Department of Transportation. Approval is requested for staff to draft a letter to GDOT and for the chair or vice chairman to sign.
Okay, any discussion about this needed? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to authorize staff to prepare the letter to GDOT requesting the limited sight distance sign.
And now the
And
chair
allow
and
chair
vice
and
chair.
vice chair to sign upon completion.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Item 4 is set a public hearing for case number P25-002. Request from Roger Lumsden to close Cane Creek Road from Highway 85 to Cane Creek. The bridge has been condemned and is no longer a public use.
We're requesting that you guys set a date for April the 22nd for this case to come before you guys to close this section of the road.
I had it for May, first weekend, May, is what we talked about on the phone, because he was not gonna be here.
22nd, April 22nd. He won't be here in May.
Right, so all we need is a motion to set
Set
that
for
public
April
hearing date.
Is that enough time and all?
Yeah, I have it in the paper this week, next week, and it's already signage for the road.
So you had it in the paper for the April 22nd?
She will.
Well, she said she already had it listed. in the
Yeah,
paper.
I sent it to
She's already
him,
sent it.
and he said he'd cancel it if you guys didn't agree to do that.
So what's wrong with the 5th? Mr. Lumpkin won't be here.
He won't be here.
It will not run in the paper till Thursday. We have to send it on Friday, Monday.
When did you send it to the paper? Last week or
Friday.
last Friday?
In hopes that you guys will do the 22nd.
And if we don't, he'll cancel it.
Right.
Okay. What does the board want to do?
This section of the road has been closed to the public for quite a while. And the KLM brothers are not wishing to close the other side. And the bridge is the one that's been abandoned by,
Oh, the bridge has been closed since the 70s. It's been out.
he just wants to do a legal close.
And this Cane Creek Road was closed in 2000 and reopened up in 07.
So
So this is just a section
Just
from
set the this is
85 to
set the
dead
this
ends.
is just to set the hearing for the 22nd to come before you guys.
To Cane Creek,
That goes to that man from California Province.
85 to the creek,
I've never been at
It-
Creek, so.
Cane Creek.
It's part of the guy from California, it's Roger Lumsden and that gentleman.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion, we set the public hearing for the request to close Cane Creek Road from Highway 85 to Cane Creek on April 22nd.
Second.
All in favor? And we can hear fors and against and decide then.
Yes.
So all the property owners should be here there. Item number 5 is 2025 contact form, ACCG Interlocal Risk Management Agency, Property and Liability Program, and allow the chair or vice chair to sign.
Commissioners, encloses a 2025 ACCG Irma Property and Liability Programs discount, which designates County Clerk Allison Stevens as the insurance and claims contact, County Administrator John Gordon as the safety coordinator, and Human Resource Director Valley Chambers as the HR liaison. This will require the chair or vice chair to sign. Yes.
Now,
And the reason they requested for me to be safety coordinator is because I'm certified, and talking with Chris Ryan from LGRMS is, in my position, I can make the change immediately instead of having to go through channels in case there's something the safety committee brings forward.
you can make what change immediately?
If they need to purchase security lights or trip hazards to fix those,
So where is the conversation that comes periodically that the county administrator cannot serve in that role?
I have talked to Chris Ryan with LGRMS and I can't serve in both roles. Because I am a certified safety coordinator.
They actually prefer it to be someone who can make a purchase
I
of
agree with
that
that.
kind
I
of
just
thing.
wanna make sure we're legal,
We are.
so.
Yes, I've spoken with Chris Ryan and got confirmation from him. It was up to me if I wanted to serve in that role
I'm
and the
fine
board's
with
pleasure.
doing that and someone to make a motion as long as the legal reviews and make sure that's in the right guidelines.
Make a motion, what?
To approve this pending, legal's review that the county administrator can serve as the safety coordinator. I think it's a great idea and it should be, but I've read several things that I do not know the basis of where they come from and there was no document related to. So I just wanna make sure we're covered on it because I don't know.
Well, I make a motion to approve the ACCG IRMA Property and Liability Program for the legal's approval for the administrator to sign.
For the administrator to serve as safety coordinator.
Serve what?
It's safety coordinator.
Serve as safety coordinator.
For the
And for
chair.
the chairman or vice chairman
Chairman,
to sign.
vice chairman sign.
Second.
All in favor?
I just got a message from Mr. Roger, and I apologize to, Allison. He said that he did prefer to meet for the May 6th. I do apologize, Allison.
That's okay. May 7th,
May 5th.
May
May 5th, okay.
I do apologize. He did.
what?
The May 5th time that Allison had put on there.
So
Yeah.
which one is it? You're saying the 6th, but the meeting's gonna be on the 7th.
May 5th,
May-
meeting.
The May,
May 5th.
first week in May 5th.
Roger wants it on May the 5th,
Yes.
because he's gonna be out of town this month.
And that's our regular scheduled meeting.
That is our
Yes,
regular
I just,
schedule.
I need to
Right, 'cause
have
y'all
a
confuse me with all those dates, Mona. Okay,
I meant to, we just had to have a revote or whatever we
so
have
we
to
need to go
do.
back to that. So can I just simply amend,
You should be
my
able to.
motion for,
Make sure you state the clear date, yes.
so I'm gonna amend the motion to set the public hearing for case number P25-002. Instead of April 22nd, the meeting will be May the 5th at 6 p.m.
And I apologize, Allison.
Okay.
And who seconded that one?
Gene,
I second.
Jean.
Okay, so you seconded it. All in favor for that change?
Emmett.
You in favor of changing that?
yeah,
He would read.
Thank you.
All right, now, item number 6, request to purchase Stryker auto load systems for EMS units, fire and rescue.
Commissioner staff is requesting approval to purchase an auto load system for EMS unit from Custom Truck and Body Works at a cost of $63,317. This is a request from the commissioners to see what an additional system will cost. The purchase will be funded from the FY25 EMS equipment lease and maintenance budget line item, which currently has a balance of $116,83. Two quotes, one from Custom for $63,317, Stryker for $72,851.37. Staff recommends proceeding with a quote from Custom Truck and Body Works, as it offers the most cost-effective solution. And be purchased out of, that's already budgeted in general fund.
So maybe I'm confused or misremembering, but it seems like this is the third year, 3 months into the third year. At least once a year or a couple times a year, we're buying Stryker Honolulu system, something for ambulances. Is that normal or am I wrong?
I think this is only the second one. We tried to put it in the specs when we bought the first truck, but it got cut out of those specs. But
Maybe that's one
you'll
of
hear
them.
Stryker Autoload and the TOTS, that's who builds those systems.
Okay.
So, and this is the one that, when we presented the master plan, I think it was like a 7-year contract base, and we said, no, we'll put the annual cost of that contract in your budget, and then every time you purchase the equipment, you just come back to us. And so that may be why we're hearing it. This will cover the second one. And then hopefully next year I'll purchase the third one to go in the third truck. So we done the first one, it's being mounted now. The second one, once this is approved, they order it, they get it in, I'll take the truck up there, we'll mount that one in.
Okay, that explains to my brain why I was like, wow, he keeps asking for this.
So the first truck we got remounted did not get the Stryker load.
No.
And the second truck, the one that they got now that's fixed to be ready this month, is what we voted on last month.
That's right, and Commissioner King asked me if I could get a better price. Unfortunately, it's the exact same price, but it's substantially lower than the second quote I got. So, I mean, it's a good deal on that system, but,
It's about $10,000 cheaper.
Do we have
I make a motion to purchase a Stryker auto load system for EMS unit not to exceed $63,317,000.
say it again?
Did he say 317,000? Thank you, sir.
Where'd you come up with that one from?
I make a motion to purchase the Stryker auto load system for EMS unit not to exceed $63,317,000.
You do it again. You said $63,317,000.
$63,317.
That's what,
$63,317, I'm
That's
sorry,
from Custom, correct?
from customer, yeah.
from Custom.
Second.
All in favor?
I get it.
I just got ahead of myself.
It's okay. Wait. We knew what you meant.
He was getting excited over there, he was getting a pile of money.
Item number 7, request to go out for bid for 2 4,000-gallon tankers, fire and rescue.
Commissioners, Fire Chief Stevens identified the need to purchase 2 4,000-gallon tender tankers to replace the fire engine that was declared a total loss. The estimated cost is $178,249.06 per unit for a total of $356,498.12. The primary funding source will be from the insurance proceeds totaling $347,397, which will leave additional funding of $9,101.12, and we'll be using SPOS funds for that difference. Again, that is based off of the estimated cost, which could fluctuate a little bit depending on when the RFP comes back in. But anything additionally over the $347,397, we would request using SPOS funds to cover the difference.
Why do we need these?
Because we don't have fire hydrants in the county. They'll carry 4,000 gallons of water at one time, and one fire engine carries 1,000 gallons, so that's like moving 4 trucks at once.
So even the big Coweta.
They only 1,000.
They still 1,000.
Yes, sir.
But we don't have any today.
Now, the largest one I've got currently is a 2,500 gallon. It's an old forestry truck. It's a manual shift, unsynchronized, so it only has limited people that can drive that truck. These have automatics, ABS, all that type stuff.
So are we going to park, sell the old unit, or it'll still be in the fleet? And
I can probably identify some smaller tankers that we could sell, but I'd rather still like to keep that 2,500 gallon tanker.
well, that's what I'm asking about. Are you gonna keep it in service?
I hope so,
in the
yes,
fleet?
sir. Yes.
So that means you do have other tankers.
I got some more smaller, like 1,000 gallon trucks. I mean, some of them things are 68 models. You know, I mean, they're older stuff that we've had for a long time. I could probably identify a few of those that we could get rid of, you know, by placing these in service.
Or, I'm not trying to get into that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just curious as to. was
It
this
just makes a safer truck. It's a newer truck. It's a safer truck. It's, you know, I know it's a bigger truck, but with driver training and things like that, I mean, we've
Lot bigger, I just hope you got people that qualify to drive.
and they're baffled front to back, side to side. I've talked with Pike County, Lamar County, and Berrien County, and they've all purchased these exact trucks from, not exact trucks, they're a little bit older, but they're the same size, same tandem axle, all that type stuff, so. And they're very well pleased with them. Berrien County's fishing to actually purchase a couple more.
Okay. And then this, basically all that math works out to, it takes all the insurance money from the damaged one in the wreck last year.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
$9,101 from the county.
Correct.
It's lost. Okay.
But this is a request to go out.
Yeah, I just gotta build the RFP. I wanna make sure this is the direction you guys wanna go in. Cause I've heard, you know, kinda mixed as, do we need those big trucks? Well, we need water, and the only way to get water is a bigger truck.
These trucks here, like that, they'll be able to pump some kind of water on them.
Yeah, 700 gallons a minute. I mean, they won't meet the specifications to be an engine, cause you have to be 750, but they will pump 700 gallons a
But I
minute.
mean, you could mount one of them hose reels on the back of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It could.
And that's some small modifications I'm gonna, you know, look at and talk with, the manufacturer about changing and identifying, you know, I'd like to have a little bit small hose bed on the front so we can, it's just strategy and tactics, but put a booster reel on them for grass fires if we have, you know, a situation like that arise and
I
just,
think if we go out to bid, we should be able to get creative and convince somebody that for $356,000 is it.
yeah.
You know, I mean, $347,000, they could shave $9,000 off 2 units. And just use the insurance money.
And that's stuff that, you know, this is just preliminary stuff that I requested from this manufacturer because he's had experience in building that specific truck before. You know, and I said, hey, give me some specs that I can go off of to put together a proposal so we can send out for bid and then come back with the, you know, the dollar amounts.
Well, I make a motion to put this out.
You can go ahead.
I make a motion to put out for bid 2 4,000 gallon tender tanker trucks for fire and rescue, Meriwether County Fire and Rescue.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Is that what you was gonna do, is make a motion? Is that what you were gonna do?
I'll go make a motion. I said, go ahead, I'm gonna get it done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 8 is approval to allow Woodbury Police Department to do recreation background checks and allow the chair or vice chair to sign.
Commissioners, the City of Woodbury Police Department has agreed to conduct background checks on behalf of the Recreation Department. Attaches agreement requiring the signature of the chair or vice chair to authorize the City of Woodbury Police Department to perform these checks. Completed background checks will be sent directly to Human Resources and filed in the designated folder in the Administration Building.
I'd like to, make a comment here. We started this, last year we all voted to start our own recreation department for Meriwether County. And this is Meriwether County Recreation Department. I don't understand why we wouldn't just go ahead and give approval for our local sheriff's department to do the background checks. They represent the whole county. And, I just see in the future, you know, and I appreciate we're very willing to do it if they said they would do it, but we're trying to focus on staying in one direction before we start having one city say, well, you're letting them do that, you didn't ask us to do this, and until he has a chance to get us off the ground and going, if the board wants to discuss more, fine, but if not, I would be willing to make a motion that we let the, Meriwether County Sheriff's Department do background checks.
I agree with that.
Is there a reason why we,
This was a request from Randy Carter.
he's right there in Woodbury talking?
Yes.
So nobody's reached out to the sheriff to see whether he would or not.
But your office is over here in this building, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
anything you needed to turn in to be checked, you could go right over here and drop it off.
I've also been in contact, and I hadn't even had a chance, because I just got it this afternoon and hadn't had a chance to talk to John about it. One of the ladies that used to work with another software program has changed, and she's moved to a different company. It's called Anchored. She is working on getting me a quote where they would handle the background checks for us, and they would actually help the certification of coaches, which I highly recommend our coaches get certified. There's several different ways they can do that, and they would handle that, and it's based on the number of coaches we have. And what she's told me, that for less than $1,000 between now and October, since that's when the new budget year starts, for less than $1,000, then they could handle that for us now. I don't know if that's an option. I hadn't had time to check with him about it completely. And also I hadn't been able to talk to Woodbury or the sheriff about it. And being retired law enforcement, I as well, I have no problem going to speaking with them and seeing what their thought process is on it. And if this company does, what kind of background checks they do, if it's sex offender, if it's complete background checks.
I personally would prefer to stay in the county and let the sheriff's department do it.
Yeah, and will the sheriff's department charge us?
No, so the sheriff does all the employment background checks
He
for
does it
all
for
staff.
HR, unless there's one that's like out of state, I think.
Yes.
She has to send that off, because we have a contract with someone y'all approved.
Yeah, we
For
did,
Valerie.
we approved that.
But I will say,
But you can use the same company, because we're already in contract with them.
Right.
I would think so, I don't know if they would do, if there's any additional for that, or.
I don't think so, because they do all the background checks for staff at the
Then we
sheriff's
do it
office.
if.
I don't know if they do it for the coaches or not, though. According to Randy, the county charged the sheriff, am I right? The sheriff said they charge more for the sheriff's department to do it than,
I have to check on that and see.
Woodbury. And that's something I can check on and see, but,
Well, it's something we need to know, because there's no
Right.
cost outlined in this recommendation
Right.
from Woodbury, so. We will pay $1 or $1 million per background.
I
check.
thought it was $5 a person,
Yeah.
$5 a coach.
But it doesn't say that in here, so we.
Right, I
we
don't,
need that
I don't know.
Motion to approve. Whoever we go with. I mean, that would be signing a blank check.
Just know that
We're not doing that.
I think it could be a staffing situation at the sheriff's office.
Yeah, that will.
If you got a lot coming in
You
at
want
one
to table
time.
it to the 22nd?
Because we need the
Yeah.
financial.
I make a motion to table the background checks to April 22nd.
Now give you time to speak with.
What-
Continue to get information from that lady, check with her.
Table that with condition that the director give us some more information.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor? And then let's check and see if the current agency we already have a contract with, if that suffices in doing that. And
Okay, I'll get with John and find out who we actually have it with now.
it may work, it may not, but
Yeah,
Right.
you know, if Woodbury, how much they gonna charge, how much the sheriff's department gonna charge.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
I would have to check with Woodbury. I didn't see anything in the contract, but we can check with the sheriff and see. Because I know for the employees, there's no charge, but with this being volunteer coaches, we'll run it by the sheriff's office and see.
okay. Report from county administrator.
Commissioners, I've been working with Jamie on finance and training her. She's catching on very quickly with finance, which has helped relieving some of the burden on me on doing both administration and finance. Been checking in with recreation and public works. Like I said, Alan, this was his 5th day. Brian's, I think he just completed 2 weeks. We had a department head meeting, a quarterly safety meeting. We're working on finishing an audit. They're waiting on one report, and we're trying to nail out the details on where the numbers are coming from. There's a small discrepancy we're trying to figure out. We're preparing reports that we're due on March 31st, April 30th, and June 30th. These are all annual reports. Elections should be completed by the end of the week. They're expecting to move in next week ahead of the April 18th deadline. Building A has been having internet installing going on and working out the connection issues. Building A. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 17234 Building A, the old DFAX building. So internet has been installed, but they said it's connected on their end, but we're having problems connecting here locally. And we'll put this on the May agenda, but we need the board to start considering who they would like to nominate from their district so we can start the Recreation Advisory Board per our ordinance. It's 5 members, and each district would elect one to put on the advisory board for recreation.
And that's reducing that, what was it, 12 or?
I think it was 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's, okay.
And this would just help give recreation guidelines. We had community input. That's all I had, Mr.
I do
Chairman.
have something I forgot. Ashley Harmon over at, the 4-H office, they're selling onions. These onions are, $12 for a 10-pound bag. I know we have a lot that like to buy onions to support the 4-H, and this helps their cause for camp. So if anyone would like onions, just let me know.
She told me she was gonna be here for that tonight.
Yeah, she wasn't able, she come back.
I know they good, I bought 2 bags
Well, she
last
said
I've been buying 2 bags of them too, so.
She's letting me know.
Okay, report from county commissioners. Commissioner Snelson, what did I say?
You
Sorry.
said Snelson.
I was reading and said it at the same.
That's all right.
Sorry.
I'd like to thank our new employees, and I've seen great things, and I'm glad I've seen good progress in the Public Works Department and seen good things out of the Rec Department, and thank you, Jamie, for your great financial report. And I'd like to thank the citizens for all their input lately, and I've gone out and about and I've heard a lot of good things where citizens are happy right now, so that's always a great thing.
Commissioner King?
Same thing, welcome aboard. Public Work Director left, but I'll be reaching out to him too. I've got some folks I've been talking to recently and some other business I do that's known him for well, and he said he's gonna do us a great job, so that was good news to hear. And look forward for the rec department, for him to get things in shape and make everybody happier than what they are. But I hear nothing but good things, and Public Works has been jumping on some of these roads around here pretty quick. People call me and complain, I just turn it over to them. Next thing I know, they call and say it's done. So I hope they can continue to do that. Thanks, staff, for your hard work.
Commissioner Collins?
I just like to thank all the staff and all the constituents and all the workers for the job they doing, and I'd like to welcome the new rec director and the road superintendent, and for a job well done, and hope they get the county moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Same, I'd just like to welcome all the new people and thank you for the hard work you're doing and appreciate what everybody's doing in the county. Do we have a report from the county attorney?
Doesn't look like, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a need for executive session?
We do for litigation and real estate.
Maybe we need to name all 4, because sometimes conversations drip. So, we have a motion to go in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Wait. We need a motion for go to executive session for litigation, personnel, real estate, tax matters. So move for all
So moved.
Second.
4. All in favor? We're in executive session at 7:35. We need a motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
All in favor? Back in regular session at 7:57. There's no action taken in executive session. For all the citizens watching at home, we did have a hack into our system that shows an inappropriate video. That is not Meriwether County, that is not anyone in Meriwether County's authority or reach that did that, and we apologize for that, and our IT is working on that. I need to read the next meetings again, so I did them out of order. Next meeting is April 22nd at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, work session. The next one is on April 22nd at 6 p.m. for Tuesday, same day as a regular scheduled meeting. And then on May the 5th at 6 p.m. on Monday, is a regular scheduled meeting. and May 27th, 6 p.m. on Tuesday is a regular scheduled meeting. Is there any other business coming before the board?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Need a
Second.
All in favor? Adjourn. See you tonight.